Second question to ask is, have you ever had irregular periods? So there are two main conditions that come under the umbrella of irregular periods, and that's PCOS and endometriosis. And both of them tend to run in families. First, talking about PCOS. So polycystic ovarian syndrome is basically multiple immature ovarian follicles being formed. And the signs and symptoms that you could expect in it are irregular periods, excess body hair, weight gain, darkening of skin folds, acne in some patients, and these are just the most common ones. If your mother has had PCOS, then you have a 35% higher chance of getting PCOS. So what do we do with this information? Knowing that your risk for PCOS is higher, it may motivate you to make some more lifestyle changes. Having a healthy diet, for instance, or maintaining an active lifestyle, it will reduce your risk even if you aren't diagnosed yet. And if you do get checked and are diagnosed, and if lifestyle changes aren't working with you, then you could probably consider the option of starting birth control pills to regularize your periods, so that whenever you decide to have a child, it's a shorter route to that place. So the awareness around PCOS has always, like, doctors have always known it exists, but it has, I think it was a part based on my parents' experiences who have been gynecologists and who have practiced for a long while. That was an ignored, unimportant to say, part of the textbook for a very long time. It only came into picture when lifestyle habits really started going downhill. So like 10 years ago, it is very possible that your mother could have had PCOS and went undiagnosed because we did not have a high index we were not really looking for PCOS unless it stared at us in the face. And even ultrasound facilities, which is the easiest way to diagnose, was not so prevalent, was not so easily available or cheap. So people did not go ahead and get all these tests done so regularly. So it's very possible that it was genetic. So given that you're doing all the right things, which is amazing, a lot of us find it very, very hard to maintain the lifestyle changes consistently. Something else you could try apart from oral contraceptives is insulin sensitizers like metformin. I have actually seen plenty of patients respond well to just metformin without resorting to hormonal contraception. It's great. It also helps you in weight loss. The only problem that you have to deal with is a little bit acidity, but you could talk to your doctor, you could start it, and you could try it for 3 months. That's my advice. The second condition that we talk about when we're saying irregular periods is endometriosis. And endometriosis is a condition where the inner lining of your uterus can be implanted anywhere outside the uterus, and it can cause localized changes there. So the innermost lining of the uterus is called the endometrium. If that endometrium gets out of your uterus and starts implanting itself somewhere within your body cavity, like on your fallopian tubes or on your ovaries, it starts responding to hormonal changes, like it starts menstruating there itself, then you can experience what is called as endometriosis. And the signs and symptoms that you can experience is, sometimes patients even go for a very long time without experiencing any. And when you do have them, they are irregular and painful periods. You can have back pain and pelvic pain and pain after sex. So based on research, endometriosis, you have a 3 to 7 times higher risk if your mother has had it. It's a diagnosis of exclusion. So your doctor is not actively going to search for endometriosis. What they're going to do is, we would rule out all other possible conditions for irregular periods and then come to this conclusion. The only way to definitively diagnose this condition is by doing a laparoscopy. In a laparoscopy, you put a camera, like a camera port, inside the patient's abdomen, and you look for endometriosis. So that's a very invasive test. Knowing that your mother has endometriosis, if you give this idea to a health practitioner, they could help you to reach conclusions on time, diagnose you sooner. And if you are trying really hard to get pregnant and you're not being able to get pregnant, this could, like, just having this information could help you get pregnant sooner. Now, this is something that we don't notice. Also not something that comes up unless an active incident happens. The question that you could ask is, has mom become shorter, or has she fractured or broken a bone? 1 in 4 women above the age of 65 suffer from osteoporosis. And we never actively diagnose it unless, you know, your mother has a fracture and the doctor decides to run some more tests. Osteoporosis in the most severe cases can cause bones to break very easily, even by cuffing or bumping. And this has more serious implications because the higher your age, the higher your risk for the more serious fractures like a hip fracture or a knee fracture. And these fractures limit their mobility and also come with a list of long-term complications. Besides increased risk for fractures, osteoporosis also causes lasting pain in your joints and bones. So if you know that your mother has osteoporosis, if she has had it diagnosed by a DEXA scan or by something called BMD, bone mineral density scan, then you could do a lot of things. Like you could take medications to make sure your bones are strong, like calcium and vitamin D. You could have a diet, a healthy diet that includes both these things. You can perform weight-bearing exercises to strengthen your bones and your muscles. You don't smoke, and you could limit your alcohol use. It does. Genetics play a very big role in this. But if you are checked on time, if you are screened on time, then you could always prevent your bone mineral density from dropping. So what we check is like a T-score. So that's what's checked on a DEXA scan, to give you a little example. For instance, T minus 2.5, if your T-score or your DEXA score is minus 2.5, it means you're osteoporotic. And if it's minus 1.5, it means you're osteopenic, which means you have weak bones, which are not there yet, but you could still be at a very, very high risk and you're on the way. So if you know this information, then you could definitely be consistent about your supplements. You could be consistent about strength training and keep checking to make sure you don't reach 1.5 and 2.5. Like you keep yourself above these scores. You could get regular checks done, like every 5 years or every 3 years as you age. I'm talking about after menopause. So Bhumika, yes, osteoporosis has got a very strong genetic component attached to it. And what it means for you is after you've hit menopause, the likelihood, so menstruation is slightly protective in the sense of it keeps calcium in your bones. And after you've hit menopause, that protection is lowered and you're at a high risk for osteoporosis. So what you can do is around that age, you start getting DEXA scans or bone mineral density scans sooner and more frequently. And you also maintain your vitamin D and calcium intake in your diet or as supplements. And you continue practicing strength training to keep your muscles intact and your bones super healthy.